We might see you. And then my
Who
dog
writes these questions anyway?
And then my dog will bark at you, and it'll scare you, and you'll pee on your shoe.
I just want you to know, whoever came up with that question, really inappropriate, people. Inappropriate. All right. All right, so I'm getting ready to head around to the front and have a look at the daylilies. I've got a spot prepared, well, getting a spot prepared for them right over there. We'll do some transplanting, some propagation, and that should be fun. What was that? Let's go find out. You guys want to meet a real hero? Let's see here. Well, hello there.
Hi.
How you doing?
Oh, good.
What are you up to?
Nothing.
Oh.
Home time?
Home time. Yay. Hello, everybody. This is Mary. Mary, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
All 6 people. Hey, you got room up here?
Oh, sure.
All right. So you've been out running across the country for maybe 3 weeks now?
Yeah.
Going out, encountering all kinds of weird people in weird places. You don't happen to have a case of, well, you know, do you?
Case? No. I thought you said 6-pack. My bad. Hold on. I thought you said 6-pack.
All right.
I get you.
let's crack a couple open, and
Let me go get the can opener.
I know some people would like to ask you a few questions. There we go. So.
Oh, you're actually doing it right. It is. Limes are actually for cleaning the rim of your beer bottle.
Yep. You just put it on the rim, and the purpose is.
Don't ask.
So if you were down south and having a cerveza, these will be sitting outside the bar for weeks at a time, and flies will come along and land on the bottle cap, and they'll lay their eggs underneath. So you just use this.
That?
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
So you just use the lime around the edge to wipe off the fly eggs, and of course sanitize the edge of your bottle. And that's what the
citrus.
That's what the lime is for whenever you're having a cerveza.
Cerveza.
Mm.
Don't get a case. Get a 6-pack so you're safe.
That's not bad, actually.
What did you get?
I got
Everybody knows what this one tastes like.
The brand name Familiar. Not bad at all. This one, is no better than Budweiser. That one's not bad at all.
It's almost got some malt in it.
Yeah, it almost tastes like a beer.
It's like American Pale Ale.
Okay.
Extra lime.
So, all right, now we got our refreshments. So people have some questions, because you're obviously in the industry, moving freight and stuff like that. I guess for starters, social distancing. This is a thing now, apparently.
This is not social distancing.
Are you at risk? Is there a risk of you getting infected?
Most people already social distance. Now just added a couple extra feet. Say you're standing in a truck stop line, or you're picking up as a shipper and receiver. Mm-hmm. They pass your paperwork through a slot in a window, or they make you sign in at a tablet. Anyway, after that, stylus with a rubber tip, so I don't actually have to touch the tablets. Half the time they're not giving us stuff to, they're not cleaning those things.
Right.
It's a touch screen, and I always bring my own pen.
That's the part that you touch the screen.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't
have to worry about them. They're just sitting. They're just sitting in your bed right now.
Yeah, technically. You're kind of half under the bunk. Yep, stylus.
I don't know how all 6 of you managed to cram back there, but okay.
Have you seen truck driving school?
All right, so
it's usually a bus bench back there, and
we're talking behind glass, passing sheets of paper through cracks in the window,
or the sliding window. But
stuff like
it's
that.
Always that way. They really don't like drivers in the office. They have like a little area It's just for drivers to check in.
Right.
If you're lucky, there might be a porta-john or a restroom. If you're lucky. Somebody hasn't peed all over
Public restrooms, though, that's kind of scary.
Gotta go, you gotta go.
All right, so
just don't lick the seat, people.
Don't lick the toilet seat. Good
that?
Safety tip. So when you're on the road, how much of that time is actually spent hauling freight, and how much of it is spent sitting around at the dock and waiting?
I thought shippers and receivers would get more efficient.
Right.
No, it's the same. They're still slow. It's not that they're shipping out anymore. They're still staying steady. I thought they'd be backlogged. They're just steadily,
We're talking about right now.
Well, you can't milk a cow any faster. You can't slaughter hogs or pigs any faster.
Right.
Or cows. I mean, the produce from Mexico or wherever is going to come up at the same rate because you can only pick so much.
No, I've heard that they're closing off the borders, though. The Canadian border and the Mexican border. If they're closing off the border, are we not getting produce, or are we still getting produce from out of the country?
Well, I haven't hauled any produce.
Okay.
I just stopped by Walmart and they had produce. I got me a salad and went to the deli department. And I asked them how they were doing because I hadn't been able to get into Walmart in 2 weeks.
Right.
And they said they had been restocking. And they closed down at night, so that was good.
All right.
So they're getting caught up. Because, one thing people don't realize is it looks like it's taking forever to stock. And it kind of is. That box store that doesn't have any walls.
All right.
They might have a truck that makes 3 stops at 3 different Walmarts, say their dairy truck, or their meat truck, or their egg truck. It has several stops it makes all the way around the DC. But now, one dairy truck has to go to one store, one meat truck has to go to one store.
Okay.
So it takes a little bit longer to get it out.
So the way things are being shipped is a little bit different than usual, but
yeah, it takes
things
a
are
little
still
longer
getting
to
shipped.
get there.
All right. So you mentioned you can't milk a cow any faster. You can't slaughter pigs any faster.
Pigs only get so fat so fast.
Your stuff like your milk, your cheese, your butter, eggs, bacon. Where is all that coming from?
Usually the Midwest. I've hauled like pork from Iowa. Let's see, there's beef out of Nebraska. Let's see. Now, deli stuff went from, I think it was Maryland to Denver. So
right.
This stuff is, the luxury items I think would be deli items. It's not an everyday thing. But they're still moving.
So that basic food staples, lots of the protein and the things that we need to survive, we still have that. We're producing most of what we already in the country.
We produce our own toilet paper, for the record.
Okay,
I was
on that topic, have you been hauling a lot of toilet paper recently?
I haven't, but I have talked to somebody in the Wisconsin Forestry Department, and they said they are busy. That's where your toilet paper comes from. Trees. It's literally paper. Out of trees, paper.
Now, okay. We've seen pictures of empty shelves at grocery stores. We've seen and heard stories about people fighting over, that last roll of toilet paper and stuff like that. But in general, from what you're seeing traveling around the country, how are people really behaving out there? Is it Road Warrior? Is it Mad Max?
I only see traffic, and there's not much.
Are there people with mohawks and strange jewelry and tattoos riding motorcycles with spikes on their shoulders?
I only really see traffic, and the city traffic is actually like a Sunday afternoon, kind of, but all the time. There's more country traffic, in between towns, but it's say a holiday's over and people are moseying home. I guess people are deciding if we do lockdown, they're going to go to where they want to be.
Right.
I've seen people move to Colorado plates in Iowa heading towards Colorado.
So you got here.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to leave again.
Yeah. But it's not one of those urgent. I got a dry van, so thank God. It's just farm equipment.
Well, farm equipment is important.
Actually, what farmers really need, I heard from the Ag Channel, is those migrant workers. That's what we really need, because
that is a good point.
I don't see a bunch of teenagers
because if they
there.
have closed the border, then seasonal workers coming up on a work visas aren't going to be here. So the people that are out there that have
Wait,
crops
don't
in
we
the
have
field.
an abundant supply of teenagers right now not in school?
We have an abundant supply of teenagers. We have an abundant supply of people that are not working at the moment, and probably people in need of paying the bills. So I think probably a good idea would be to get with your local temporary work business. There's one called Key Temporary Personnel here. Farmers go to those temp agencies to look for seasonal workers. So check them out. You may have an opportunity to get outside,
On the back.
get some vitamin D, which is great for boosting your immune system, and put some dollars in your pocket, and also help out to make sure that we don't have big food shortages.
They work their butts off. I'm serious. So,
Yeah.
be ready.
Now, I have heard things about food shortages, particularly with grand solar minimum. Last year, the wet, cold spring,
Oh, yes, about the crops.
lots of flooding.
Okay.
Driving around from place to place and actually passing through that countryside and seeing those farms. Is it as bad as we're hearing? Is it worse, or is it a mixed bag? What's going on there with the crop situation that you've been able to see?
Okay, so far they haven't started planting yet. Maybe a little Texas and that south,
Uh-huh.
the southeast can start planting their crops, and those would be like actually produce. Like in between cutting the lumber.
No,
the
when you say
timber.
produce, what are we talking about? Lettuce, or
Well, I've
is it
seen tomatoes planted in the woods, and they just put an electric fence around it to keep the deer out.
tomatoes in the woods?
Well, in between all those lumber cutting, they got to put something out there, and that.
Okay, so
Ground is really good.
they're doing alley cropping with an annual crop in between rows of trees on either side?
I was down in Arkansas, and I bet
That's-
they're doing that, but
That's a good agroforestry practice.
they already do that down south.
Nice.
Let's see. I haven't been to Texas in a little while, so I don't know if they're putting in crops. Oh, it was like a couple weeks ago. Cabbage. They were just cabbage out the wazoo.
They were pulling cabbage out of the ground.
We
left
haven't
and
shut
right
down the
in
border
Texas.
yet, so
Yeah.
bunches of Mexicans.
And we still have
those
some
buses.
cabbage that
Oh,
we
yeah,
got
you do.
just recently,
Thank
and
you, Mexicans.
we're planning
As
on
he was
having
picking all that.
planning on having some sautéed pork and cabbage for dinner tonight. So
Oh, good.
I'm going to video that. You'll get to see it too. All right. So this is one of my favorites. All right.
Okay.
So back in the dark ages, people didn't travel very far away
You're
from home.
showing your age if you remember the Dark Ages.
I remember them well, like they were 700 or 800 years ago. No, back in the dark ages, people didn't travel far away from home. As far as you could walk, maybe as far as you could ride a horse. 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20 miles away. But that's about the extent of how far people would travel.
That makes sense.
In the modern era, the car has expanded people's range that they can travel a lot more, but still, unless there's some particular reason for you going there,
There you go.
unless there's some particular reason for people going there, most people still don't travel more than about 50 miles away from home. And home, for most people, is a city with glass and steel and concrete and asphalt, smoggy skies, bad smells, and just pollution everywhere. If they do leave, they're either hopping on a plane to travel to another concrete paradise, or they're getting on the highway, which is, although yeah, there's lots of space that's not inhabited, there's still a lot of evidence of civilization along the major highways. So that's a long way of getting around to you're out there driving across the countryside. Is it all steel and concrete and asphalt, or what's most of that country like out there? Is it human habitation, or what?
I'm gonna go with pockets. I guess say your busiest areas for cities would be the coast. Everybody wants to live near the ocean. Anywhere there's ocean, there's major hubs on rivers, and major hubs near railroad connections.
Okay.
I think that's more for historical reasons. But most of the country is small towns or farmland, or if you go out east, woods. Trees grow like weeds. And you get past Interstate 35 and the trees just ramp up so you can be in town and you won't realize you're in town until you go over an overpass and see the road down below you.
Okay.
Because trees
So,
just grow like weeds out there.
Farms, yes, and then trees. We're talking
Most
about orchards, or is just woods?
No, just whatever happens to grow, like weeds.
So it's
Like all the pioneer species.
so it's just a wilderness out there.
You know what gets me? Is people who live in these towns. I guess you're gonna need another one.
Mm.
People who live in these towns.
I wish I could tell you the name of this beer because it has this particular beer, which is the familiar version. La cerveza más
They ask me a
fina.
question, they won't let me answer.
Wish I could tell you what the name of this beer is, but we can't talk about that. Yes. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, what I don't
I'm
get.
gonna stuff my mouth and just shut up.
What I don't get is people live. You live in these cities. You don't go anywhere but work in the grocery store. How do you miss your exit? What are you gonna cut over in front of me? You live there. You know where your exits are. I don't. I'm not from there. The truck is always lost. We're looking for our signs. Who keeps stealing the street signs?
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. Am I checking my phone to make sure it's the right street? You live there. You know where your exits are. Let's see. Most of the time, I drive in the country. People ask me why I don't drive locally. And then I ask them, do you want to drive in rush hour all day long? Exactly. Especially if you live in the big cities like Atlanta. I feel sorry for those delivery guys. Hoboken, New Jersey. Secaucus, New Jersey. Oh, New Jersey.
New Jersey, New Jersey? New Jersey.
Oh, and if somebody says they're from Jersey, they're actually from New York. If they're from Jersey, they'll say they're from South Jersey. And they'll tell you why.
All right.
Oh yeah, they'll tell you why.
We're going to talk about different states here. Idaho. What's the story? Is it really the potato capital of the world?
I haven't really been there in it's been a while. Well, they do make Idaho potatoes. They come from there.
Okay.
Sort of.
Sort of. Explain.
Well, the Idaho potato is I think a brand of potato.
Okay.
And then you can have your Idaho potatoes planted anywhere. And maybe somebody specializes in the Idaho potato, say
sneaky.
in a Dakota somewhere.
Like you get your potatoes from India and they're labeled Idaho potatoes because they're Idaho brand.
No, they're still in America. They're not going to India. That would just be weird.
Well, every time I call, I get somebody from India, so I was just assuming.
No, they might take a potato. It's like 3 generations or 4 generations of the exact same potato.
Right.
And apparently the way you get the exact same potato or onion they're basically clones.
Right.
You haul them into New Mexico. The Navajos have a great way of growing potatoes. The potatoes need sandy soil.
Okay.
Wisconsin, Florida, New Mexico.
Back up. You're telling me that the Idaho potatoes, although they may originate in Idaho, are actually being grown by Navajos in New Mexico.
Among other places.
All right, go on.
Because they need sandy soil. Corona.
Oh,
Beer.
yeah, large. Demonetized, I swear.
Beer.
It's going to be at least a year before this channel is ever monetized, if ever. Anyway.
Bleep.
All right, so sandy soil. So big roots have to expand.
A lot of drainage.
And they need good drainage. Sand. Okay.
Mexico.
So New Mexico, lots of sand. Gotcha.
If you ever Google Earth, I think I'm going to say Farmington, New Mexico.
All right.
Go into town and then scroll outside of town in any direction. You'll see green circles.
All right. So I am going to attempt to, in post-edit, get a screenshot of what that looks like here. Right here. Or somewhere. I can't see what's going on. So pick your nose. Oh my goodness. Speaking of which, anyway, no, we're not going to address the nose picking right now. All right, so Farmington, Google Earth, look down, and you're going to see
there are little green circles.
Green circles.
They're actually quite huge.
Okay.
So they're
not little green circles.
So they put the water
with
just
little
exactly
green men.
where they need it. So that'd be like your onions and your potatoes and things that need lots of drainage.
Although I'm pretty sure if an alien were to fly by and look down at the Earth, they would see those and go, there's intelligent life down there.
Or they figured out how to grow food in the desert. Clever people. I think a lot of people had to figure out how to do that because, You can't always get food where you need it. Sometimes you have to grow it where you are. And they literally will get these potatoes, these Idaho potatoes or these russet potatoes or whatever. They chop them up for seeds. They roll them in something to keep them from rotting and sprouting too soon.
Right.
Then they store them in super insulated warehouses. They're really cold. 100 degrees or more outside. These places are cold.
If I was doing it and I was cutting them up and separating them out so I have eyes on pieces, I would just take wood ashes and put that on the cut edges.
I think that's what they're using.
That might be what they're using, or something similar.
They told me.
Something similar. If you're doing it at home, wood ashes work just fine.
But then I asked them, how in the world do you get potatoes and then grow potatoes? And then I reloaded the exact same potatoes, but the full potatoes.
Right.
I can't remember if I was going to Wisconsin or Florida. But Wisconsin actually, a lot of people don't know this, do a lot of potatoes as well. And because they do have that sandy soil because of the Great Lakes and I guess it's granite.
Right.
It's very gravelly, great drainage. They literally have all the processing factories there that literally will divide up potatoes by type, size, color, quality, bag them, box them, whatever you want. I've literally hauled potatoes out of Florida up to Wisconsin to be processed and taken back to Florida because they're in bags now. They're sized.
So we're getting potatoes. We're getting beef. We're getting pork. We're getting eggs. We're getting chicken. We're getting turkey. We're getting
eggs have made a comeback. Chickens have made a comeback from the bird flu thing.
All kinds of dairy products.
Yeah.
This is good news. People, we're not going to starve.
Yeah, people are still. I mean, the farmers and the growers are still doing what they've always done.
We're not going to starve. Okay, the stores got depleted.
So I'm not sure what's not coming out of China. I'm going to go with that small stuff that will come out of sea crates.
The cheap, low quality stuff that breaks after 5 or 6 times using it, if not sooner, that you probably never wanted to have in the first place.
Well, they did ship a bunch of stuff out before they shut down.
Oh, that's true.
Because that box store that doesn't have walls has like a huge warehouse facility down.
I see what you did there.
Well, they have huge warehouses down by the Gulf.
And
they're full of sea crates off the boats. And
there's a certain store, just to explain. There's a certain store you can go to that is depot, but whenever you go there, they don't have for sale there. They have stuff that you can buy at the depot. Now there's another place where they don't actually sell walls. Anyway, go on.
And there's nothing there to build a wall.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing even there to build a wall with.
But you can put stuff on your walls if you already have them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twix moment.
All right, so you're out on the road. Restaurants are closing right now, apparently. This is the thing. You can't go to the restaurant. Obviously, you can't get a big truck through a drive-through. How do you eat when you're out there? Are you living off of crackers and canned beans or something? Or
that sounds good.
Crackers and canned beans.
I do have beanie weenies and crackers.
All right. But really, I mean, how do you go about making sure that you don't starve to death while you're delivering the food to everybody else, which seems kind of ironic.
Fortunately, truck stops are staying open, and they still have their packaged stuff.
Right.
But there's no roller dogs.
You're losing me there. What's a roller dog?
It's like a carnival hot. Okay, you have your street vendor that has a hot dog cart.
You got to keep in mind, I don't stop off at truck stops on a regular basis.
But they have these things that roll them and slowly cook them.
Okay, I know. Okay, I've seen those.
It might be at like a carnival.
No, I've seen those.
But they literally roll.
They'll
have the quick trips. The QTs have them.
Yeah, the quick trips have them. Yeah.
Oh my God! They probably don't have them now. They're so. I'm gonna. I didn't think I would miss them until they're not there.
Until they're not there.
And the pickle bar's
like
gone.
Like Twinkies.
Oh, that was sad.
So, the food is out there, at the farms, at the warehouses. Mm-hmm. It's on the way. The toilet paper is being manufactured here in country. Yeah, we actually farm the trees that they make the paper out of, that the toilet paper is made out of.
You could call Arkansas the chicken and toilet paper state.
Okay.
Because of pines and all the chicken farms.
Generally speaking, the things that we need to live, the things that we need to survive, we still have them. They're still coming.
Who's eating toilet paper?
I don't know who's eating toilet paper. That's kind of gross.
Toilet paper zombies.
Hopefully, they're eating it fresh and not used. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Have a look at the camera.
Oh, hi.
Say hi, people.
Bye, people.
Bye, people. Thank you for watching with us today. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, bang the notification bell, and we will catch you next time.
Can you edit out my tongue sticking out?
Yes.